Rob Paddock is ready to change the education landscape with the country's new globally recognized online high school. Valenture Institute will bring its first year of curriculum in January 2020. Now, this institute's mission is to evolve what it means to go to school by transforming physical limitations into digital opportunities. They will do this by providing learners worldwide with a fully supported global online high school experience steeped in academic excellence and rooted in sustainable practices. For more, we joined by the founder, Rob Paddock himself, from our Cape Town studios. Mr. Paddock, a very good morning and a warm welcome to Morning Live.
And thank you so much for having me this morning.
That's an absolute pleasure. Now, the institution's mission is to, evolve what it means to go to school by transforming physical limitations into digital opportunities. Tell us more about the online high school. What does it entail?
So the online high school, you can imagine all the best features of a traditional in-person bricks and mortar high school replicated in a digital format. And what I mean by that is typically when individuals consider something like an online learning experience, they think regularly about a kind of computer-mediated experience. It's largely about you and the content and interaction with the computer. Now, what we've taken the approach is that, in fact, education is fundamentally about connection. It's about creating more opportunities for connection from student to student, from student to teachers, and between students and mentors. And what we've created is an incredibly socially rich online learning experience where students are interacting with each other in real time, interacting with their teachers in real time, and getting an incredibly intimate learning experience with their fellow peers.
Well, since it's an online institution, is there a tutor available for the learner that might need extra help with a certain subject?
Absolutely, and it's one of the reasons we refer to Valenture Institute's approach as a socially rich online learning experience. They have access to tutors in small tutorial-like environments. You could almost imagine a Skype-like environment, but supercharged for online education. Students are put into these small tutorial groups where they have access to their tutors. They have regular access to mentors who come from a psychology and counseling background, and a team that works behind them in terms of administration, technical support, and so on.
Well, so which curriculum then is the school offering, and which subjects will this curriculum be focusing on?
So we are a global online private high school, and as a result of being globally focused, we're offering the British curriculum with a wonderful institution called Pearson Edexcel. So we're offering the equivalence of grades 8 through 12 plus 1 year post-matric, which in the British curriculum is A-levels. And we're offering a broad array of subjects, or all the typical subjects one might expect from a high school.
Is it accredited, and if so, who accredited this institution?
It absolutely is, and the accreditation body is this group called Pearson Edexcel. They're the accreditation body as well as the examining body.
Right. Mr. Paddock, it's always encouraged that, a child must go out and be physically active, especially at that age. So does the institution provide sports?
That's a great question, and something that parents have been regularly inquiring about. So yes, we've taken the best of making education more accessible and evolving what it means to go to school through the primary mechanism of your studies being digital. But we've linked up with sports clubs, cultural clubs, etc. throughout South Africa and abroad. So our students can tap into networks of existing, let's call them physical activities and opportunities to interact with other students and individuals their age in person. Now, in addition to that, we've got extensive virtual clubs at Valenture Institute, and we've taken a strong focus on what we call what's referred to as the Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And we've integrated those into the curriculum. And one of the great opportunities from integrating these Sustainable Development Goals into the curriculum is that students are put into what we refer to as SDG labs. Now, these labs are real-world problems that students are working on, and they typically cluster around these issues in their geographic locations. So while students can work on these SDG labs from wherever they are, we typically are encouraging students to actually get together in person in their local geographies to work collaboratively to solve the world's biggest problems.
So if you argue that it has already worked internationally, do you think it will work in South Africa given the educational climate that we have in the country?
the response has been absolutely overwhelming thus far, both in South Africa and abroad. So yes, I think there's a number of parents and students that are looking for an alternative. Homeschooling for a long time has provided one form of alternative from traditional education, but some of the challenges around homeschooling include the fact that parents have to actually tutor their students themselves, their children themselves. And what we're seeing is there's a need for a more socially rich kind of homeschooling equivalent that is delivered online. And I guess the other piece that we're seeing such an overwhelming response to and resonance with is this focus on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Having those Sustainable Development Goals integrated with the regular curriculum seems to really be hitting a mark amongst parents and students.
I mean, you speak of a socially rich educational model, but is there any evidence perhaps that online education will provide superior learning outcomes, particularly amongst low-income and academically underprepared students?
So I've had the privilege for the last, it was just about 12 years, that my brother Sam and I had co-founded a business called GetSmarter, which is delivering online short courses to working professionals throughout the world. And GetSmarter at this stage has educated over 100,000 students from 150 countries around the world across a vast array of socio-economic brackets. Now, what's interesting about that is that GetSmarter to date has a 92% graduation rate. So 92% of the students that started those programs successfully graduated at the end. And so yes, I've had the privilege of working with truly some of the world's greatest minds to design an online education experience that can effectively service individuals around the world from multiple socioeconomic brackets.
All right, Mr. Paddock, we thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Well, that was the institution will revolutionize education in South Africa with a unique curriculum, as I said, influenced by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We just spoke to Rob Paddock on the country's new globally recognized online high school. All right.